I'm incredibly sorry to have to cut this one short, but time is of the essence, unfortunately. But it's a wonderful piece of music from Vincent Diamante for the game Flower. Timeless, really is timeless. Amen?
Timeless is in kind of like, in 20 years' time, it won't sound any different, or timeless is in like musically timeless.
Musically timeless. Right. It just feels like one flowing piece of beauty.
Like the wind.
Like the wind, yeah.
I like that.
I like that too. It's really, really cool. And it's just, like any track or any song, repetition kind of, that's the best way to kind of hypnotise or put someone in kind of like a trance state, and this one does it so well. It's just constantly ticking over. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't do anything drastic to change your mood, change your point of view. It's just keeping you in a bubble of music, and it just keeps you there, and protected.
That's what atmospheric music does.
Amen. You know all about that.
I love atmospheric music.
I love atmospheric music. It's a wonderful piece of music. Really, really is. Beautiful stuff. But, gents, I want to talk to you. We are a topical show, and we like to sort of cover differing aspects of the video game industry, not just talking about the latest games releases or whatnot, and just plainly say the music is awesome, which it is, but we like to kind of, break it apart a little bit and explain. But we're going to talk now, randomly, but not so randomly, video games versus books. Now, Chris, this is something you could shed some light on, and you have an interesting point as to, are they in the same league at least?
Well, it's very easy to argue that games like Final Fantasy before the voice acting, games like Heavy Rain, games like Alan Wake are just interactive books. That's all they are. Like, especially like Pokemon and the early Final Fantasy games, because you're reading text off the screen. Sometimes you make decisions or what you want to do. Sometimes it's a very linear storyline. It's just a book with visuals. Interestingly,
though, games like Heavy Rain and Alan Wake, they're not. Are they in the same vein? It's not red text, is it? It's all cinematic.
Yeah, it is cinematic, but it's you could argue that film is like book because it's telling a story.
Yeah, there's a narrative, a clear narrative.
So what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that it's reading words on the screen? Is that how you define a book, or are you defining a book as a particular way that you describe a story?
This is why we're talking about it now. In conclusion, which is what we'll work to. But it's an interesting point because what defines a book? Does it have to be made up of physical pages, or does as long as the narrative is told?
Well, the thing is, books are now becoming more and more popular to ebooks and Kindles and stuff, which means that they don't technically have pages anymore.
There you go. So certainly from the way I kind of imagine it to be, if you're and certainly with games being so many hours worth of gameplay now, you're reading and reading and reading for hours.
Yeah.
And you're building these characters, and certainly with something that doesn't have voice actors and whatnot, you're building the characters and voices yourself.
Yeah, which is why I'm such a fan of all the Final Fantasy games before the voice acting, which is why I reckon Final Fantasy X was ruined because of the voice acting.
Really? Because the first turn, it was a very different dynamic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just like, well, this character's rubbish, but in my head, he would have been something different, like...
And interestingly enough as well, I think there was much too much reliance on the voice acting, because then it becomes really easy to portray the character. Whereas if you've just got words, dialogues and letters, you have to portray a whole character through that, or at least give the player bait to make their own character.
In Oblivion, the dialogue isn't particularly brilliant, and you find yourself just skipping through the voice acting, but you read it really quickly and just skip on through. Yeah. And I would rather not have any dialogue, because when you read it, you project your character onto this person who's saying this dialogue, but if he's speaking to you, then he's projecting his character to you.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of cinematic games, though. And I would never sort of say it was a bad thing at all. But you're right. It just kind of does what it says on the tin. It gives you already. It doesn't allow you the freedom to build the world yourself.
I think games are moving away from the book aspect for sure, because you had text adventures back in the day, which were purely just text.
Yes.
And now you're moving away and becoming more cinematic, like the E3 video of Watch Dog.
Yeah.
Okay. But then again, there was text that you could read into people. So it is moving away from the book elements. Yes.
What do you reckon, John?
One thing I'm going to ask is, have either of you ever played Phoenix Wright?
Yes.
No, but you're a huge fan of this, aren't you?
I'm a big fan of Phoenix Wright, because Phoenix Wright effectively is just it is just a novel on the DS.
How so?
How so? Well, for a start, there's no actual action. It's all text-driven.
Hold on, this is the game whereby...
you're a lawyer.
Yeah, you're a lawyer, aren't you? So therefore, there's going to be a lot of drive to use that as a gameplay mechanic, I guess?
Yeah, sort of.
In some way, shape or form?
Well, first and foremost, it's all about, using your mind, sort of reading it and sort of making sense of what's going on in a situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it sort of builds up these brilliant characters, I think, almost as well as a book would do. Because, of course, it relies on text. There's no real animation, so to speak, of. There are a few sprites here and there for each character.
Yeah.
But you don't actually see them sort of walking around.
So are you trying to say that if you remove the sprites, it wouldn't affect the game?
That wasn't my line of thinking, no. I was just giving you an example.
Do you object to that?
Oh, a challenge.
I'll be
Hold on, are you going Ace Attorney on John now?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. You need to get the sound effect for that.
We do.
But yeah, if you one thing I'll do is if we ever do something like a Phoenix Wright special or something, I will bring in the DS and I'll let you have a go at like the first case and you'll see just what I mean.
Okay, it's a challenge. You set me the Portal challenge. In fact, hold on, that's not even me with the comeback there. It's just you saying you're going to do something. But that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. Is it a stylized thing then? Like, you as a developer, Chris, as a game maker, when you're designing a game, is that a genre or a style you would like to explore? Like a story-based text game? Is there still a market for that at least?
Yeah, but it's not AAA. It's definitely indie. It's definitely arty now. It's something that I am looking into.
Yeah.
But there's no real market for it. But then again, there's a market for everything. So
of course there is. Where there's innovation, there's a market.
It's something that I want to explore. Yes.
Good. Well, I'm glad we said it here on VGM 48 today on the 9th of July.
So, in conclusion,
you got a conclusion for that?
What was the ultimate question? The ultimate question is books like games.
Video games versus books. I guess there is no question. It's just an open subject, which is really good to explore.
Well, games are definitely moving away from the book aspect, but there are still many games that are very similar to books, which we could define as being a book.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, this is some music from Myst. It's a Myst medley from our good friend Jack Wall, who we played some Mass Effect earlier on. Enjoy this. We'll be back in a few with a bit of Red Dead Redemption, which is a wonderful track, but we'll see in a bit.